Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Jared. How about you?
I'm not doing too bad. Today is not the day that we talk about Angels baseball, though they are red hot right now, and congratulations to Mike Trout on passing Ken Griffey Jr. in F4. It's pretty significant in that retrospect. But tomorrow we will talk about the Chicago White Sox series and preview the Red Sox series. In fact, when was the last time the Angels played the White Sox then the Red Sox?
Don't know.
I don't know. Just kind of a weird thing to point out there. But today we will be taking a trip around the Angels farm system, talking some minor league baseball, a lot of fun stuff going on down there. But first, before we get going any further, I got to mention all the sponsors and have a lot of fun. I don't know. We don't have sponsors or anything like that. I just wanted to say it. It makes us sound more professional, doesn't it? Listen, here's a word from our sponsors. We don't have a word from our sponsors. That's what we got right there. I'm just going to let you know. We don't. Blue Wire. That's what I got to throw out there. If you're looking to start a podcast, anything, go to Blue Wire. They do fantastic things for us, of course. And as always, you can follow myself on Twitter, Jared_Timms, Nate on Twitter at NateGreen34. Just follow all of our social medias. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening to this. Leave us a review, whether you like us or not. Tell us what we can do better. Tell us what we can not do better. Tell us what we're already doing better. But Nate, let's get to minor league talk here. Hopefully not take up too much of your time. I know this stuff gets a little boring, I guess, in a sense, but a lot of fun stuff going on in the minors. Yep. Anything in particular that you're seeing since you are getting into the minor league spirit a little bit more, like myself?
Yeah, no, I love being able to look at the minor leagues. It's been a fun checking more than normal this year, which has been interesting. I mean, a lot of young guys in high or in low, which we'll get to talk about. But just looking at the different rosters and how they're constructed has been interesting. I mean, AAA is very old, with some really a lot of guys that probably aren't major leaguers, which is kind of weird to say, or ex-major leaguers. Like it's either ex-major leaguers or guys that may or may not make the major leagues, where there's not too many like for sure major leaguers in AAA this year. Those guys are AA, for sure low A, and then maybe high A depending on who you talk to.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to AAA, and we'll talk about it, you get some interesting farm pitcher. What was I going to say? Prospects. Pitch on the pitching standpoint. Davis Daniel, Ryan Smith, Jose Diaz, just to name a couple there. And then you work your way down to low A out in Inland Empire, and it's a very young and inexperienced team, but a lot of fun. There's a lot of emotion out there. So let's just start off there. At the moment, I know they play tonight, and tonight's Sunday. They play tonight. We're recording this ahead of time, so we don't have to stay up late and do all that fun stuff. They are 9-10 at the moment. They get to play Lake Elsinore. Jose Salvador is going for them. Salvador is kind of interesting, but don't want to mention him. Just a couple names off the bat that we kind of want to mention. Alejandro Hidalgo has been lights out. I saw him opening night, and unfortunately, just didn't see his good stuff. It was like, well, there's something there for sure. He was like 91, 93, a little bit of run. Changeup was good, not unhittable or anything like that. And he flashed a slider that I thought wasn't bad, like a slider in the works. But since opening night, I mean, 5 innings pitched, 1 run, 5 innings pitched, 1 run, 4 innings pitched, 1 run. He's improved his ERA down to 2.65. He has 23 strikeouts and just 6 walks for a 19-year-old, I believe is what he is. He might be an 18-year-old. 18-year-old at the moment, turns 19 next month. It's super interesting down there. He's one of the Angels' top pitching prospects. Fangraphs has him ranked 11th. I think I kicked him in. I think I have him about at that same spot as well. We can move on to Aarovaro, who hit his first career professional home run, should I say, the other night.
In the States.
It was. I don't think he hit one in the DSL either.
No? Okay.
I think this is his first professional home run in general. So it's good to see a little bit of power, and he also hit it just to the left of the big 36-foot wall in Lake Elsinore, which is huge. I know if you look at the batting average and the stats for Aarovaro, you're going to be like, oh, Jared, why are we talking about him? Why is he a top prospect? Very advanced. Again, another 18-year-old. You don't see too many 18-year-old, 19-year-olds down in low A. more in the Arizona side of things. But the fact that, you have so many 18, 19-year-olds on this Inland Empire team, it's really, really impressive. Again, he's batting 190 on the year, but I just need to point it out that he had a home run, which is huge because we haven't seen a lot of power from Aarovaro. And I think that's something to come. I don't know if you have anything to say about those two guys. I have a couple more guys here in low A to.
I was just going to ask one question on Hidalgo. Has his velo? You said it could run up to 95. Had it gotten up to 95 yet?
I saw him 90, 91, 93. I would assume it's probably kicked up a little bit, being that opening day, first month or so, you see some lower velos and such like that. Same thing as the major leagues where Noah Syndergaard's still kind of sitting down in like the low to mids. But we've seen him run it up. Same thing with Hidalgo. I would assume he probably has gotten it up to 95. But when I saw him, he was 91, 93, flashed a good changeup, decent slider. But since then, I was able to watch him, and the changeup's real. The changeup's real, and if he gets that slider working too, you have a legitimate starting pitcher. 3-pitch mix, you gotta assume he's a pitcher. So let's move on.
The other thing I wanted to add with Aarovaro, if you look on Baseball Reference, I love that it mentions how old they are compared to the rest of the league. Vera's 2 years younger than everyone else there. So average wise, of course, but so he is very, very young for that league.
Well, that entire team is extremely young. It's filled with 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and a lot of the kids from overseas too. So I like what they have working there. I know the record's not going to show, but team chemistry type of thing, a camaraderie type of thing. I know that's weird to say, but I think that's huge in the minors. Kids can grow together. And this is definitely one of those teams. So let's move on to David Calabrese, who hit his first home run of the season. He's only played in 3 games so far in high A since being called up from Arizona. But that's a notable name. I think he was the fifth round pick in our third round pick out of Canada, by the way.
2020 draft.
Yes. Yeah, and that swing looks really nice. I don't know if you saw the home run that he hit, but that's a pretty swing.
And you've seen him anywhere from 15 to 20, sometimes 25 in most prospect rankings.
Yeah. I mean, I've dropped him a little bit, but that was only because nobody knew what he was doing, where he was, especially with like visa issues coming. I know Canada is weird and everything. Like, I know he's from Canada, and that seems weird. Like, you only really get visa issues from Dominican, but I think he did have some visa issues coming from Canada, and restrictions and such like that. So it's all there. It's Andrew Benintendi, like, to be honest. Like, I'm sold in on David Calabrese if he can continue. I think it's Calabrese, by the way. I don't think it's Calabrese, but I'm sold on it. I really like him. He's in 75 grade runner too, so he's a stupid athlete. And he's going to play. He plays good defense. He can probably play all 3 outfield positions if you need him. The arm's average. It's worth taking a note on David Calabrese for sure. So let's get on to
his comp has changed, because I think your old comp was Reggie Willits, which
that was just my lazy comp right off the bat. And then I saw somebody mentioned
that's changed.
That was my lazy. I mean, though, doesn't that not make sense? Like,
I know, but that goes from being a 4th outfielder to a legitimate starting outfielder that could play every day. Andrew Benintendi's that guy. So
ups. So let's be clear here.
Reggie Willits is the floor. Andrew Benintendi's the upside. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying, but it's still good to hear that it's there's a better ceiling than Reggie Willits.
I mean, he's a major leaguer.
Yes. We'll move on from that comment.
Let's move on to one of I wouldn't say my favorite, but one of like the team favorites, I'd say. Just a good dude in general. And I mean, he's one of my favorites too. I mean, you can't not talk about him when it comes to Angels minor leaguers. And that's Desean Knowles, who's playing in low A still as well, except for I'd expect him to be in high A real quick. I said it before the season, I think in our last minor league pod, but I think he's going to work his way up to high A, and we'll see a dip in production there, because high A you can't hit there. It's really hard to hit there, but I really like what he's doing this year.
There could be a spot for him soon. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, there might be a spot for him soon at this point for sure.
Yes.
He's batting 283 on the year. No home runs, no triples or anything like that, but he does have 2 doubles. He's putting the ball in play, which is big. Has 4 stolen bases, and he also, is playing some pretty solid defense. Also plays the infield a little bit too. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I did not.
Yeah, he plays shortstop and second base. Fun fact.
Wow.
Yeah, he's played a couple games there this year. No, they don't game by game doesn't give positional
I know.
rankings on Fangraphs, but he has played second base and he has played shortstop, I believe, this year. So there is that as well. So let's go ahead and move on to the High A Tri-City. Dust Devils got no hit today.
They
the
already
7-inning
have
game.
more hits in the first inning of game 2 than they did in game 1.
Yeah. Who has the hits? They're
All
1-0
three.
right now?
Guzman's 1-for-1. Paris is 1-for-1. Adams is 1-for-1. So all three of them have started off hot in game 2.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about one of those guys. I know you want to talk about Kyron Paris.
No, let's talk about
he's
the
struggling
other
a little bit.
Yeah,
He's
he
struggling
is.
a little bit. We'll talk about Jordan Adams here in a second. Somebody I also, though, want to spotlight is Adam Seminaris, who
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, of course I have to. You know I have to.
Of course.
Came out of the bullpen, by the way. Not that that means anything, because I know that the Angels are piggybacking in the minors a lot with like a bunch of starting pitchers. But he did come out of the bullpen through 4 innings, had 10 strikeouts a couple weeks ago. That's huge. The game after that on the 29th, he got the win, first win of the season for him. Went 7 strong innings, struck out 5, walked 2. I mean, this guy is honestly kind of turning into a legitimate out-getter. I wouldn't say that he's going to be a legitimate starting pitcher at the major league level. Like, he's not a 1, 2, 3, even a 4 guy, but I mean, he's good depth to have. He really, really is. Like, he's going to be a good 5 or 6 starter, to be honest. And that's not a bad thing. Like, when you can
Can
call
I give a
somebody,
lazy comp? Is he like Joe Saunders, basically?
I put Jason Vargas on him always because it's
Okay.
a Long Beach State thing.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's a lefty, Long Beach State, like
Yeah,
very
that's
similar
fair.
pitch mix, minus Jason
He
Vargas.
might throw a little harder than Jason Vargas, though.
He also didn't take steroids, but yeah, other than that, there is that. I mean, come on now. Come on.
But I figured Joe Saunders just is fun for Angel fans, you know. Like, he was
Yeah,
right
I mean,
around that type of pitcher. I know the strikeouts weren't as high with Joe Saunders, but he was a very serviceable pitcher for the Angels when they were developing
all-star.
pitchers. Yeah,
All-star for a year.
he was
Like,
great. Love
people
Joe
to Saunders. Honestly, like, we don't have I would have to go back and look at what Saunders threw and everything like that. But like, an average lefty comp, like if you found like your average lefty, Jason Vargas, Joe Saunders type of guy, I wouldn't say no about it, you know. Like, I think that makes a lot of sense, and definitely somebody who's getting a lot of swings and misses and getting a lot of strikeouts. So somebody definitely to keep an eye on. It wouldn't surprise me if he was up in AA real soon, if we saw some movement really quickly, which I think is going to happen because we haven't seen a lot of movement yet. But I think that we're going to start seeing some moving pieces down the minors, because there are some guys that are really, really playing well, and Adam Seminaris is one of those guys. So let's move on to our next spotlight here. Braden Olthoff. Man, I like this kid a lot. I really do. It's funky. It's sync. It's kind of like Adam Seminaris, where it's like, you know, he's probably not an ace. He's probably not a dude, but like a 4-5 starter. Maybe you throw him in the pen type of thing. I mean, he's looking real special this year as well.
Note on him, if you follow John Boy, he had a great one on him last year in college where the team thought he was using sticky stuff because he was so filthy, which is great. They checked him twice, I think.
Yeah. And in his last, let's see here, 16 innings, he's given up 2 earned runs. He's given up 4 earned runs all year. He has a 1.8 ERA, 26 strikeouts, 5 walks. That's been a big thing for Perry Minasian too, by the way, is like that walk to strikeout rate, like throw a lot of strikes. And we've talked to guys about this too. I feel like almost everybody we've talked to has said that, like, the difference between the Epler era and the not the Poto, but the Epler and the Perry era is, you know, I think Connor Higgins mentioned it to us. It's like, all right, we're going to go out there and just run and gun in the Epler era. And now it's like, all right, no, let's have a plan up there. You know, like, we don't have to go out there and just chuck. Like, there are those guys that you want to just go chuck. And I'm not against getting Ben Joyce, by the way, either. I'd be all for drafting Ben Joyce, but besides the point on that.
Exception to the rule.
Exception to the rule. There are exceptions to the rule always. There's never always just cookie cutters, but yeah, back to Braden Althoff. He's looked really, really good in his start. Another guy that I would expect him to get promoted at some point. I don't know when, but I mean, you look at the stats and it's like, you know, they don't have video there, so nobody really knows how he looks or anything like that. Just know that the sink is good. He's got the curveball. He's got the slider. I think it's curveball changeup is what it is. But they all move. It's nothing straight, and it's not firm by any means. It's like 90, 92, but it does the job. Like, he gets outs. That's what Perry Manasian's motto is. So let's move on to your favorite guy, who is Jordan Adams. You can talk about him. Go for it.
Dude needs to be in Double A. I mean,
Yeah.
he's raking. That's why I said Knowles has a spot in High A. If Jordan Adams gets moved up, continues to hit, he's hitting over 300. He's got an OPS 827 in High A, which you mentioned already. It is not easy to hit in High A.
Which is why you shouldn't be worried about no home runs from Jordan Adams, and again, why you shouldn't probably look at why we shouldn't actually talk about ERA with High A out there in Tri-City, because the ball just doesn't go anywhere. But yes, go continue with your.
Well, I was just gonna say that he could easily be in Double A, and he's really the only guy hitting in low or in high, excuse me. So
yeah,
he could easily be moved up any day now. Is encouraging to see, especially with the Byron Buxton comp on him, and Byron Buxton continues to play really, really well in the major leagues. If Jordan Adams can turn into that, the Angels outfield is going to be absolutely loaded.
Yeah, he's got the super relaxed
swing
look
change.
Right now too.
Yeah, it looks really good.
He's there up at like the Anthony Rendon, and that's why I like being on YouTube too. You can kind of see this. He's just kind of relaxed up there at the plate, and he's feeling it. He's feeling good. One of those guys who, when he got drafted, it was like, well, he doesn't play baseball all the time. Stupid athlete. It's going to take him some time to get his feet wet and everything like that. And it seems like he's gotten his feet wet and is really, really taken off. I know he had a little bit of an injury, took a foul ball off the foot or something like that, but he's doing better.
He's healthy. He's swinging it. Like, I think it's time.
Yes, absolutely. So let's move on to Rocket City, who is 13-8 this year. Something we can have to continue to mention is records, because I want to see minor leaguers win. I know we've talked about it with minor leaguers.
Yeah, you need to win.
You have to somewhat differentiate your how you're going to grow. What is that?
Development and winning. Yeah,
but they go hand in hand.
One and the same. If you develop winners, they will enjoy winning. When you have a lot of guys in the minor leagues that are used to losing, they are going to be in the locker room after losses being okay with losing. And I know you guys are going to be like, what, Nate, like, that's not how it works. Everyone wants to win. But when you just continue to lose and it just becomes like, it's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. So I really think winning is going to be important this year.
Exactly. 100%. And this is where they are winning. This pitching staff has been absolutely lights out. Actually, it's kind of interesting. I don't think Fangraphs has updated Double A. At least they haven't updated Kai Bush's stats, because Kai Bush looks really, really good. Might I add? Can I throw a Josh Hader comp on him? Is that fair?
I mean, not really to him, but yeah, it's fair.
Okay. That's just what I see, to be honest. It's an electric fastball. Like, I don't know. It's mid to upper 90s. I don't want to put numbers on it because I don't know, but it's a firm fastball. I would grade it at 70. It's one of the best fastballs that I've seen in the minors. That's tough. That's tough to match something like that. Like, if you see something, and we do watch a lot of minor league baseball. He's one of those dudes where it's like, wow, that fastball it's different. That's a different fastball for sure. And hitters are eating it up. And they're really not hitting a lot down there off of Kai Bush. He adds in a nice little slider. He adds in a nice curveball.
Not as many punchies as you'd expect.
No, I think he had six in his last start.
I have him 18 1/3, 14 Ks.
Yeah.
3 walks, though. That's good. I love to see the strikeout to walk. I'm a big strikeout to walk guy. That's why I'm not a big fan of some other guys in the big leagues. But, yeah, I think that's very, very important to be able to throw strikes and get outs.
Reminds me of Detmers a little bit too, where how Detmers, and this is just Detmers in the minors. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, because Detmers in the minors was stupid.
Yeah, well, this is what he reminds me of, is Detmers in the minors, because he's spotting up his fastball so well, and the fastball actually is better than Detmers, so it's like just plays up another notch. And also some more news out of Double A Rocket City. Sam Bachman will be there.
Yes,
huge news.
Back spasms have cleared up, and he will be. Is he going to be making a start here soon?
I have not heard. When I hear, you'll hear. But I don't know.
I know that'll be all over Twitter.
Yeah, I have not heard when he's starting yet. I would assume he's starting at some point this week. If he's starting, I don't know. Might be piggybacking in a sense like that, but don't read too much into it. So let's go ahead and get on to our next guy here. I mean, we can't mention Double A Rocket City without Brett Carey.
Mhm.
This guy has been unfreaking believable. You got stats for Brett Carey this year?
I do.
Um,
He has a bunch of strikeouts again. I believe it was 34. Give me 1 second to double check on him.
no, you're good.
He
It's
32 Ks, 3 walks, and 18 innings pitched. Again, huge strikeout to walk ratio. Strikeout to innings pitched as well is very, very important for me. So those are really two big numbers. Minor leagues, like again, Jared will mention this a lot. Batting average, not the biggest deal. Home runs, like kind of a big deal depending on where they're playing, but really not that big of a deal. And ERA, not a big deal. You really want to check the strikeouts, the walks. Those are important. If they can't throw strikes in high A or in double A, like they're not going to throw strikes in triple A or the bigs.
yeah, and I think I think Rocket City's skipping his next start. I don't know if he'll be up in AAA. He also only went 2 innings the time before. I don't think he's hurt by any means. I just think that it's been a lot on him. He's thrown a lot of innings, and I don't know, to be honest. So something to keep an eye on for sure. He only went 2 innings, but again, 32 strikeouts, 3 walks, 69 batters faced. That's damn impressive on the season, and I'm excited to see what he brings forward. Fastball that plays up in the zone really well. He drops in a nice curveball. He has a little slider too. I think it's a big spin rate, big spin efficiency guy because that fastball just stays straight. Like it doesn't sink at all. It's just flies, to be honest. So I'm in on Brett Carey. I don't know if he's a reliever at the end of the day, but I'm very much so in. It's very Davis Daniel like in my opinion, which isn't a bad thing either. So let's move on to another pitcher in Double A, and Double A just seems to produce. They did it last year; they're doing it again this year. Chase Silseth has just been an absolute surprise. Didn't expect him to, first off, be starting, and second off, be starting well, if that makes sense. He's got a 1.35 ERA this year, 27 strikeouts, and 5 walks in 20 innings. Like again,
leading
strikeout.
them in innings pitched as well.
Yeah, leading in innings pitched. Strikeouts to walk ratio is another huge thing for us there. He's been up to 98 this year in the 5th inning, by the way, 98 in the 5th inning, which is very encouraging. I still think he's a reliever, but I mean, don't put it past him. If he's starting in Double A and he's getting, he's throwing 4 or 5, I think 6 innings in some starts. It's worth keeping an eye on the starting side of things. I think it plays up in the bullpen, like 100 mile an hour plays up with a disgusting slider, but it's not bad to have these options at the end of the day. And then of course we have to go to the best hitter in the minors at this point. It's Trey Cabbage, and this guy is just absolutely raking down there, putting up Mike Trout numbers this year so far: 357, 483, and 800 slugging percentage, 232 WRC plus. I don't think he leads the league in home runs, but he does have 8 home runs this year, 5 doubles, and he adds on a triple. He also has 5 stolen bases and is playing good defense. This guy has been out of his freaking mind. It's a lot of fun to see him. I don't know. You can't consider him a prospect at the end of the day. Like he's not gonna slot in on my top 30 prospect list, but it's worth mentioning that somebody's putting up these type of numbers in Double A, and it's a pretty swing too, to be honest. Nice swing from the left side of the plate when it's all said and done. So let's move on to Triple A before we let everybody go here. 12-12 on the season. Kind of a different style of team. It's an older team. It's a lot of depth there. We've seen the Angels go down there quite a bit already this year, and it's kind of worth it. First guy we got to mention, Mikey Stefanik. Barrels is actually, I don't know if he's on the IL, but
he just got activated today.
Did he? Okay, he just got off the IL. Fantastic.
Yes, he played today in their 9-4 loss to Round Rock. I think he was 0 for 2 with 2 walks.
That's good. That's good to see. I've been waiting for him. Yes, he did. He was playing today, so that's huge. Very, very big. That Stefanik's back. Another guy I feel like we have to mention, Luis Renifo. I know that a lot of people dislike Luis Renifo for some reason. But
poor guy. The guy just rakes in AAA.
He does.
And he's never been given a real opportunity. We've given everyone else a real opportunity except for him.
Yeah, I mean, though, when you look at like what Andrew Velasquez has done and Tyler Wade have done, like it's hard to give Luis Renifo a chance this year, or even like think about Luis Renifo.
If Renifo plays if he plays better defense than Fletcher and Wade, not quite as good as Velasquez and hits better than Velasquez, like I'd take that.
Yeah, absolutely. Another guy I think we have to mention too down there who's kind of been struggling, started off the season with injuries. I don't think he's all totally healthy yet either. Is Brennan Davis. He was added to the 40 man. Will be interesting to see what they do with him. They DFA him in the future. I'm intrigued to see what ends up happening, though they didn't DFA Hector Yon for the longest time. So again, we'll kind of see what happens when it's all said and done there. So
Yeah, we talked about him a lot recently and how tough he has started, which, you know, I know a lot of Angel fans had him penciled in as a potential starting shortstop for them this year, and he has not been anywhere close to that so far. So hopefully he gets healthy and is able to show some signs of playing better. But if he does not, then yes, it's going to be a potential DFA to allow the Angels to bring up another young kid.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's move on to the pitching side of things before we let everybody go. Ty Buttrey, I know he got kind of beat up a little bit in that last outing. Again, got to mention that he's been up to 95, which is a good sign instead of sitting 90, 93, which is where he was. But I mean, there's just depth down here. We saw Peguero get brought up.
Rosenberg got called up
Rosenberg's
today.
been brought up. Wants has been brought up. Valdez looks really good down there. Jansen Junk is actually, I think he's on the travel squad in a sense because he hasn't pitched in 2 weeks. So in AAA. So I don't know. I haven't heard anything about what's going on with Jansen Junk. But yeah, there's that. Jose Marte's still down there. I know he's been kind of been getting roughed up a little bit, but Marte's down there. Jonathan Diaz looks really good. Watch him pitch. A couple nights ago, went 8 innings, threw under 100 pitches. Same thing with Cesar Valdez. Valdez actually went complete game and was the player of the week down there, and he's striking out a lot of dudes as well. 26 strikeouts in 26 innings for a guy who throws 84 to 86, maybe touches 88 with actually a disgusting changeup. I'm a big fan of him. So I don't know if you have anything else that you want to bring to the mix here with all these minor leaguers that we've talked about.
There will be a lot of movement in the next day or two. A lot of movement. You're going to see some guys get called up. You're going to see some guys sent down. The major leagues have to go to 26 as of today. So there will be a lot of movement in this minor league system. I don't know who's going to get sent down. I don't know who's going to move around. You could see some guys added to the IL. You could see some guys added to the developmental list. There's a bunch of different things that guys could get added to. So just keep a close eye on where some of these guys end up. And this actually could be a really good time for Jordan Adams to get called up, actually. I mean, with all the movement, it would make a lot of sense. Yes, I just said called up. I never meant big leagues. No. No.
We're still working on our minor league lingo with you. It's all good.
He should be moved to AA. There you go. He should be moved to AA. And there's just a lot of movement that's going to happen the next day or two. So just keep an eye on that.
Absolutely. And yeah, that's it for today. I'm excited. We'll be back tomorrow to go over, hopefully, a series win for the Angels. They're off to one of, if not the hottest starts of Angels history. I'm going to be honest there with you. I looked it up, Nate.
Yeah, I think you said 83, 93, something like that. Yeah,
83 was the last time they got off to a hotter start than this. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see what they do. Hopefully, again, another series win, and we'll be talking about it tomorrow with you guys. So, guys, as always, want to thank you all so much for listening to this podcast here at Talking Halos. Don't forget, if you're looking to start a podcast, go to Blue Wire. I feel like I have to mention it. Blue Wire. Get us some shirts or something. Let me promote here. Let me promote for you guys. So, yeah, subscribe wherever you're listening to it. You can follow myself on Twitter at Jared_Tims. You can follow Nate at NateGreen34. And guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.